Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks bringing you the Daily SPY Report for Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. Before I jump into the charts, just once again want to encourage you to please click like each and every time you do watch the Daily SPY Report. It does help us out a great deal with how we're being seen and found on the YouTube channel through search engine results. And subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. It'll provide you notification each and every time new content has been uploaded to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. That actually happens every day with the Daily SPY Report. We have the daily Triple Q report, the weekly DIA, IWM, and now the weekly Bitcoin. And also we put out a free stock pick a week on YouTube. So it's to your advantage to see it early, and you'll only know about it early if you actually subscribe. So let's jump into the charts. These are all daily. Well, there is a weekly chart I'm going to be showing you as well later, but for the most part, these are daily bar charts. And I'm starting with support. You're probably familiar with this mid 450s rising channel bottom at 455.36 on Tuesday. It is really a base of support. This is kind of the 2 to 3 week time frame I'm showing you. 455.36 floor. It is the beginning of a floor really down into the 452 handle. And 481.21 ceiling. And, you know, we came close to testing that 455.36 channel bottom a week ago Monday. And, you know, we also fell later in the week. So it's there. Above this area, we can push into the low 480s over the next week or two. We could trade inside this channel actually well into February perhaps. Upside, this is kind of like the 2 to 3 day pivot point really, 468.94. It may be in reach today. I'll get to that in a moment. But it is a point that can contain daily buying pressures. It is the high of last week's low. Sorry, the low of last week's high. And it can contain daily buying pressures, and once tested, the market could fall back from there over the following day or two. But if we did close above 468.94, then we should actually reach that 481.21 channel top, and I'll get to that in a moment. For today itself, 464.98 is a 3/8 upside retracement over the last 3 days of activity. And there's other things going on there in the very mid 460s, 464.98. There's stuff at 565 and change. I could go into a whole list, but I'm sort of rounding it out at 464.98. That is our intraday resistance, can contain intraday buying pressures. Well, let's jump into the support and resistance right now. 364.98, as you can see, can contain intraday strength, and below which we could fall back to 460.72 intraday, where we could bottom out on an intraday basis. We could trade inside that area for a good part of the day, but if we push through 464.98, as I said earlier, that 468.94 low of last week's high, then in reach on an intraday basis where we can place a daily high. And if we were to close above 468.94, then we have 477.11 as the next 2 to 3 day target. And you can see that here is really the start of a band of meaningful resistance up to 481.21 that can absorb weekly buying pressures quite possibly through next week. And from there, we just might fall back into the mid 450s again within several weeks. But closing above 481.21, and it's a bit of a moot point right now, irrelevant. But, you know, I just should mention that if we do close it, we haven't far to go really then for pushing to a more significant resistance, that long-term trend line here represented on the weekly chart that's performed quite well since the September high. When we tested it, we rallied almost to the tick. And then within 1%, we pushed in October and November. It is still there, and it becomes, I'm going to say, a 1 to 2 week target. Probably less than that if we close above 481.21. That 491.86 long-term trend line is part of a range of resistance that's I don't have the number in front of me, but it's in the 492, 493 handle. And that area, if tested over the next few weeks, can contain buying through February, and from there we could fall back in the weeks to follow. It's also a significant upside continuation point into later year, and I'll obviously apprise you of those targets if we approach the 490s. Downside today, if we break or open below 460.72, that 455.36 formation is in reach, which is really the start of a range of midterm support down to 453.10 that can contain selling through February. And in fact, above which we could push not only into the low 480s again over the next few weeks, but even that that 491 and change area that I showed just a moment ago is actually in reach, say by the end of February, holding above 453.10. Now, if we did close below 453.10, the structure is a little bit different than the triple Q. The triple Q is tested long-term support, and if it closes below it, it's not far from it. We have a meaningful 3 to 5 week sell signal, but I wouldn't be able to say the same of the SPY. They're not lining up the same. And so in terms of just sort of distance from key levels, if we did close below 453.10, we're probably just 3 to 5 days under a moderately high volatility framework of actually continuing south to 439.01. And that channel bottom can contain selling on a quarterly basis. So if we did test it over the next few weeks, could contain selling into Q2. And from there, we could rally on to new highs within several months. But I'll show you the weekly chart in the event that we take out that lower level, and it's represented on the weekly chart as 440.88, then we do have a pretty significant sell signal. And I think once again that would be about 3 to 5 weeks under a higher volatility framework, 393.89 than anticipated, where we could place a 2022 low. I think this band here actually shows kind of the structure in the SPY moving into mid-year, really. Now, if we get above 491.86, all of these adjust. Because the channel bottoms, the 440.88, 393.89 are based entirely on that trend line. And so if we take that trend line out, then we readjust those lower parameters. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to leave you with the support and resistance for today. Once again, we have a two-sided framework really between 464.98 and 460.72, and we closed just below 464.98, so pushing or opening above it wouldn't be much of an effort today, and if so, 468.94 in reach on an intraday basis. That's all I'm going to say. Please click like each and every time you watch the Daily SPY Report. I'll be back tomorrow for Wednesday's Daily SPY, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back soon tomorrow for the Daily SPY Report. You have a great day. Take care.